Happy Monday, degenerates. Welcome back to the DieHard MMA podcast. It is break week 2024. We've had a couple of them already, but we have got a nice little gap here this week. Thank God there's some Dana White's Contender Series on a Tuesday night tomorrow to kind of hold us over, but I've been thinking about it. I got to tell you guys, I came into this show and not even came into the show, but like usually, okay. So for those of you who maybe haven't been around, even for those of you who have, peek behind the curtain here. When I do these shows on Monday, I'm 90% first to the market, right? You've got those a-holes, Brady and Wheezy, whom we love, who do their show on Sunday night, but almost nobody else comes early, right? So like I gotta have my shit together way ahead of time. So on Fridays, sometimes I'm starting my research for Mondays. On Saturdays, before the UFC fights, sometimes I'm starting my research for Mondays. Sunday is my cram day. It's like, oh shit, literally everything I need done happens today, because otherwise I'm going to look like a moron in front of this camera talking to you guys about UFC. And this week, I found out that we didn't have fights on Saturday. I was like, oh my God. And just like the sigh of relief, apparently, you guys, I need a mental health day. I was like, oh, I was so happy to hear that I didn't have to hit the immediate turnaround. Got some nice food with the wife and daughter, hung out with the family all day on Sunday. We spent some time with my father-in-law. We played a Mario Party. I mean, like we just chilled this weekend. We watched some Impractical Jokers. It was a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And there was a moment that I was like, I should break down Dana White's Contender Series. I was like, you know what? I should have something to say about Dana White's Contender Series. Usually I'll cram for Dana White's Contender Series after the podcast is over on Mondays. That's my little window there, is Monday night after I'm done with you guys. As long as I'm not, getting in trouble with the wife here at home, I'll do a little bit of homework and I'll listen to some of the friends of the show and their podcasts, and I'll put together a game plan for Dana White's Contender Series and have just a couple of bets. And I was like, this week I finally have time. I should break it down myself. I stared blurry-eyed at my screen for like a good 45 minutes and was like, nope, that ain't happening. So I do apologize for you guys. I'm not going to break down Dana White's Contender Series for you today. It's going to be you and me, a little bit of back and forth interaction with the chat. We can recap last week if you guys want to, coming off a big plus 12 unit winning week off UFC Vegas 96. We can look ahead a little bit if you guys want to look at some of these cards coming up. But frankly, your boy's tired. It's going to be a short show tonight. 2024 is moving way too fast, and I apparently am behind. I just have not caught up, and I could use a little bit of extra sleep. So we're going to take the week off because there's some big time cards coming up here in the very near future, right around the corner, and I want to be gassed up and ready to go for those. How's everybody doing in the chat? We got Moneyline Mills hanging out saying Titan up. We've got and Titan spelled not Titan as in like play poker tighter, make better decisions, but Titan is in Tennessee Titans, which I find interesting. Sam Gambit, what's going on? We've got Alawan Dream in the house. Ophie, Luis Rodriguez, Nigel G, my guy, giving me shit last week. The It Factor MMA, Chris, what's going on? Future Hokage, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys for being here today. So like I said, just a short show. If there's something you guys want to talk about, if there's something you want to throw in the chat, I can definitely acknowledge it and we can go over it. But besides that, we'll keep it pretty tight. Last week, I got to tell you guys, I'm on to something here, okay? I'm a dog hunter. You guys know this, right? But the anchor, baby, oh, baby, slow down. The anchor is 5-0. Now, I've tried to tell people about this. I've tried to explain it to people every single time I post my anchor plays. I get at least 3 people. Bro, the line was never like that. No, that's unrealistic. There's no line like that. I'm like, guys, no, like they're all parlayed to the same person. That's how that works. Like, so I still have not communicated to the masses how this thing works yet, but it's been just absolutely beautiful. I know this is the year of chalk, and that's been messing with me because I like to make arguments for the dogs, but this weekend was a perfect example of how the variance bounces just are screwing with everybody right now. So on PFL, I dropped a couple of units. I bet Kai Kamaka and I bet Ray Cooper. And it was plus 285 and plus 225. They both lost a split decision. I was hurt. I was hurt. I was in some pain. I was like, I couldn't go just like 1-1 there and have an okay night, have a winning night. Both of them fought well enough to maybe get their hand raised, but I lose both split decisions. I was pissed, guys. I was pissed. And then when I did my anchor parlays for UFC Vegas 96, those fights were closer than I could have possibly wanted them to be. And I won 3 split decisions that night. Unreal that I could hit 3 different split decisions in the same night. So the MMA gods taketh and they giveth back sometimes. Like I got a couple of tight fights where the favorites squeezed on through. And in those spots, I always say I prefer to be on the dog, but with the way the anchor parlays work, I'm pretending the first leg doesn't exist basically in my mind, right? This is some mental gymnastics I'm doing here. You've got girl math, you got the way women think that, a discount is somehow saving them money when they spend 180 extra dollars at Target. I'm speaking specifically about my wife. This is my degenerate math, okay? When I make a parlay and it's an anchor parlay, my anchor, my lead pipe lock of the week, as my father-in-law would say, I pretend that one doesn't even exist. So Cavalcanetti last week, I was like, she's going to win. No ifs and or buts. I don't care about the line. And then I'm just pretending all the other lines are on their own, right? So if I'm laying a favorite and I'm getting plus 109 on somebody who's minus 150, I feel a whole hell of a lot better about that bet at plus 109 than laying minus 150, minus 160 on it. Again, that's not really what the line is, but as long as my anchor comes through, I have created a line that I feel much more comfortable with. And we won a couple of split decisions where having a minus 200 favorite was a terrible bet if the fight played out that closely. But I'm going to justify it. I'm going to take it. And I got the win. So I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm good with it. That's the way to do it, man. But you only got to, yeah. See, Matt in the chat figured it out, though. If one of the anchors lose any given week, how bad does it hurt? Here's the thing, Matt. Thank God I have not been kicked in the balls that hard yet. It hasn't happened. I'm 5-0 since I started doing the anchor system. I have yet to miss. The whole point is you've got to be extremely, extremely confident that your anchor isn't going nowhere. Your anchor has to win. So I've only done it 5 times, and you've got to be very careful about it when you do it, because if the anchor loses, you lose everything. I had 12, 14 units in play, and it was all tied to Cavalcanetti. I want to know what the price tag is on a 30-27 judges scorecard, guys. The way these judges are judging these fights, what the hell is going on? Josiane Nunez, 30-27, my left foot. No way. No chance. That was not a thing. Nobody could ever have scored that fight legitimately for Josiane Nunez 30-27. He had to have mixed up the names on the cards. Like he thought red was blue. He mixed up his fighters and scored it for the wrong person. There is no chance in hell that's a legitimate scorecard. They should have gone full Taito Avasa and walked the dude's ass right out of the apex when he put that card in. Unreal. If I had lost that fight, if that split decision had not gone my way because of that bullshit, that night's over. The night's over. It's 14 units in the hole. You've got no hope of coming back. And then all the Hail Marys, the sprinkles, the long shots, those are just adding up on top of it. It's like a minus 20 unit night, and I'm crying myself to sleep. It's not a good night. You do not want to lose an anchor. And that's why I've got to be so sparing. I've got to be absolutely locked in on the fact that this person's not losing the fight. And a couple of my anchors have been hairy. I mean, even you go back to Nate Maness, when I made him an anchor, he was like minus 500 when I did that with him. I made him an anchor because I was like, look, he should knock this guy out in the first round. But if he doesn't, we're not playing inside the distance. We're not playing KO. We're chalking the fuck up on the money line. He was never in danger of losing that fight, but I know a lot of people who lost a lot of cash going inside the distance on Nate Maness. We anchored him and it didn't look pretty, but he got his hand raised. Like, that's what the anchor's all about. So, I'm a degenerate, guys. I'm a degenerate. This is not financial advice. It's something I'm doing. It's worked out. Just understand the risks when you do that. If you miss, it's a bad night. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, Nigel saying thank you for addressing the scorecards. I have no idea, bro. I have no idea what's going on. The state of judging in MMA is insanity right now, and I hope the UFC does more of what they did in that Tai Tuivasa situation. I mean, I know they have to answer to the judging commissions. I know that's like a whole thing, and I'm not sure the politics behind it, how that works. Some places have more control than others. Like, I know Nevada's untouchable. You can't do a damn thing to one of those judges there. But the UFC needs to do more of that, where they need to just be like, excuse me, sir, your door is right over here, and just like walk him right. Pull a Johnny Walker on him. Leave him out the back door with his shoes off and just be like, no more. We ain't doing this shit. Anytime a judge pulls that kind of shit, because I can understand there are certain fights, and you guys know me, I always try to jump on Twitter and I always try to like post my scorecards along with the fights and stuff like that. And sometimes I will be like, guys, you could justify any scorecard here. That's like Angie Hill and Tabitha Ricci. I was kind of surprised it was unanimous, because that was a fight that was very close by the numbers. Angela Hill was not taking all the damage. Tabitha was missing with a lot of punches. I mean, like, I scored at 29-28 Tabitha myself, but I really thought that somebody could have seen that fight for Angie, because she was landing the cleaner shots. That's the kind of fight where it's just so razor thin margins when it gets to the scorecards. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? But that is not what happened in the Calvin Canetti and Nunez fight, because Jacqueline was doing all the damage. She was outlanding her opponent, and she was very much in control of the entire fight. I think she got caught once. There was one moment where Nunez had a big shot that landed, and that was basically it. So yeah, that was a horrific scorecard in my opinion. Thoughts on Alex and Khalil? It has not been discussed yet. That's a good one. So a lot of people are expecting me to keep my fade Alex Pereira boots on and go back to the well and guarantee that you guys will win another bet on him. But guys, I can't. I absolutely can't. Alex Pereira has absolutely come around on me. I am definitely team Alex Pereira at this point in time, and I am not going to be betting against him unless he does something insane like dropping weight and trying to fight my boy Daukas. I will absolutely bet Daukas against anybody that's trying to cut weight down to 185 and challenging my boy. But at 205, I think Alex Pereira is a different animal, and especially against Khalil, who's somebody I've never been on the train of. I'm a fan of him. I like Khalil Rountree as a person. I've been cheering for him. I like his personal story, all that kind of stuff. This late career resurgence that he's had, guys, honestly, I think is a little bit of smoke and mirrors. I don't buy it. I really don't. Let me pull up Khalil Rountree's recent run here, because live show, you guys, live show. So I did not come in prepared with this information here. So let me get this pulled up. I can actually talk to you about what I'm thinking here. So I've talked about how he's one of these guys that mentally sometimes you just can't trust. He comes in with a lot of anxiety, and he has off nights, stuff like that. Those are the kind of guys that I think, frankly, will fail at like a title challenger type of level. The fact that he's got a loss on his record to Marcin Prachniow, guys, I bet big on Ion Cutelaba when he fought him, because that whole moment where he like screamed in Khalil's Rountree, screamed in Khalil Rountree's face, not screamed in Khalil's Rountree. Wow. Okay. So when Ion screamed in his face, I talked about this a couple times recently. These guys that try to like bully and punk their opponents as a professional UFC fighter at this level. When it happened to Bilal, when Leon tried to make him flinch, my boy's got ice in his veins, which, by the way, tangent. I got my Bilal shirt. Yeah, my plus 250 and new Bilal t-shirt came in. I'm happy. The only reason I'm not wearing it is because we earned the baby blues this week, and that's tradition. No, so when these guys come in and they try to like punk their opponent and like make them flinch, and that I'm a huge believer in like mental edge, mental warfare type stuff. And when you don't budge, your eyes are locked in, stone cold. You're like, go ahead, hit me. Like those are the guys that I'm like, okay, they just won that face off. That shit backfired. That ain't gonna go well for you. That's happened to Ion a couple of times. Khalil jumped. Khalil was like, like he's not made of steel the way some of these guys are. And not that that was the only reason for the bet, obviously, but that was one more thing, tinfoil hat, icing on the cake that I'm like, yeah, Ion got what he wanted. That was him winning that face off. That was him getting that mental edge. And sure enough, Khalil broke. So like he's gone on this run, man. You lose to Marcin Prachnio, I'm never going to think you're anywhere near UFC title caliber. Okay. It's just not possible. The Modestas Bukaukas sidekick to the knee, a little fluky. He busted the dude's knee in half. Beautiful shot. Wonderful martial arts. He obviously implemented the kick. So, like, good for him. He wins, right? But you're not going to just knock somebody's knee in half every time you do that. So, a little fluky. Carl Roberson doesn't belong in the UFC. Dustin Jacoby, he won a split decision. I got to run that one back, but something in my brain tells me I feel like I scored that fight for Dustin Jacoby. I can't recall. Chris Daukas, chinny as shit, and now out of the UFC. Anthony Smith, in this day and age, Anthony Lionheart is not what he used to be. The durability is gone. Unless he's catching you with an early sub like he did Vitor Petrino. Thank God for him cashing that one for me. He's just not putting up a fight these days. The durability ain't there. So he's got this run that looks amazing. 5-0, baby. 4 of those finishes. Yo. But who's it against? He's nowhere near the type of guy that I would pick to be challenging an Alex Pereira. Pereira is going to smash him in the mental game. Pereira is a huge human being. And as great as Khalil is, he's nowhere near the level kickboxer of an Alex Pereira or an Israel Adesanya. His striking is going to be 2 levels down from what Pereira is used to dealing with at a high level. This is going to be a massacre. I mean, this is one of those ones where I might go the way I did with the what was the 7-unit bet with my guy with Umar, where I went Peyton Talbot and Umar and I locked it in super early. I'm not trying to jinx anybody with Alex Pereira, guys, but he should be a 10-1 favorite here. So the fact that he's like minus 450, minus 500 right now, dead. No, I'm sorry, Haunter. I'm sorry. Khalil has no chance. I mean, I would. Zero, none, nada, goose egg. Like Alex Pereira is not as he is not as chipped at 205. His durability seems to check out a whole lot better at 205 than it did at 185. The weight cut was absolutely killing this man. And Khalil Rountree is low volume and he trades power shots. He's going to be at a reach disadvantage. He's been knocked out himself a couple of times. I mean, I just don't see it. I really don't. I mean, if you think he's got a chance, you tell me how he wins. Like, what does Rountree do that's going to stop Alex Pereira? Leg kicks? No. Counter shots to the head. That side kick that popped his knee in half? No chance. He'll eat a head kick himself for that trouble. Is he going to get into boxing range? No. Dead left hand. Is he going to wrestle? Now, Khalil's never shot a takedown his entire UFC career. He's wrestling. Hunter, he's never shot a takedown in his life. Khalil can't wrestle. Like, I love you. I've been the guy poking the hole in Alex Pereira's game, right? You need someone who can grapple to actually take that path. And Khalil does not grapple at all, ever. He's a Muay Thai kickboxer. He's not going to suddenly turn wrestler and then do it well enough to beat Alex Pereira. Let me pull up one more thing here. I love this has just turned into like, I'm not even, we're not recapping or anything. We're just going to talk about Khalil Rountree. Okay. Let me get Alex Pereira up here. Khalil. Okay. Khalil Rountree he's fought in the UFC since 2016. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He has 15 fights under the UFC banner. 15. He has not shot a single takedown. And he's got a 58% takedown defense. So if Alex Pereira wants to grapple, he can shoot takedowns. I'm sorry. Big fan of Khalil. Nothing but love for the guy. Glad he's getting his late in life title shot handed to him here, but he ain't beating Alex Pereira. Sorry, guys. Not a chance. I did see that Chris Daukas lost to Tefon Nchukwi. That was pretty crazy. You know, UFC potential match there that could be going on. Man, Chris Daukas, that poor guy. He looked so good for a couple of fights there. Fast hands, good boxing, good power. He just has no chin, man. It's so unfortunate. That guy can't take a punch. I can't imagine what it must be like fighting at 205 and heavyweight when you've got no durability. Like, you just knowing one shot and that's it, it's over. What the hell, man? Oh my God. Dream asking, Bane or Oscar Willis? I can't believe my boy Ben the Bane Davis is actually fighting in a BKFC fight. I don't know Oscar. I'll be honest. I don't know Oscar. I will have to look into him and see what he can do. But guys, I actually legitimately put my hard-earned money on Ben Davis in his last fight when he fought for Karate Combat. I literally tracked it. It's on the MMA record. I have money on Ben Davis, and we cashed that bet if you were able to get in on that. So I will be looking to do the same again, because if there's some weird, funky way that I can make money playing on Ben Davis, even though it's jokes, it's kind of like betting on it's like betting on Jake Paul fights, right? Like, I will absolutely take the shot with my guy Ben Davis if I think it's legitimate, right? Like, if I think he's got a shot. So I will look into that and see what we can do. I'm sure Bet Online will have lines, so that would be kind of fun to bet on Ben Davis again. Gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. All right. Let's freaking go. You know what? I'm in like podcaster mode now, where I'm like ready to queue up the next topic or like pull the next fight up, and there's nothing. There isn't one. So yeah, I got nothing there. I do want you guys to circle something here though, because now let's keep this between us, us and the 350 friends we've got live with us here. So the next fight coming up is Burns and Brady, right? So we've got a whole week until now and then, but we have a beautiful recency bias moment, you guys. So I bet on Andre Petrowski in his last fight. And do you guys not remember just the seething hatred that I got for Andre Petrowski? Everybody was telling me I was donating money. He was my dog of the week that day, and he was fighting Josh fucking Fremd. Like, Josh Fremd, people really thought that Josh Fremd was actually going to win that fight. And they were in their souls knowing that Andre Petrowski was just damaged goods. Fremd just sucks, you guys. Fremd is so bad. And now he's a 3-1 favorite. So it's just a beautiful recency bias storm. Dylan Budka, the mindless Hulk, he came off Dana White's Contender Series and lost to Cesar Almeida, world-class kickboxer, Alex Pereira-esque kickboxer. And he was a favorite over Cesar Almeida. So he loses his UFC debut, which should be expected. We know Dana White's Contender Series guys take a little bit to get their feet wet, and he might have even been short notice in that fight. My brain thinks he was short notice. I'm going to have to go back and recheck that. But now he takes on Andre Petrowski, who people left for dead, against one of the worst fighters on the freaking roster, and he's getting a much harder matchup. A younger version of him, a younger wrestle heavy version of himself. That's who Andre Petrowski is fighting. And he's a 3-1 favorite. I am so ready. I'm going to watch this line very closely because I think we're playing Dylan Budka. I know we're 2 weeks in advance. I need to actually do the research, but I think Dylan Budka is going to be able to out wrestle Andre Petrowski, and he might even be a better striker. And you guys weren't wrong when you thought Petrowski was maybe a little bit damaged goods as far as his durability and his chin and stuff like that goes. So I wouldn't even be shocked if Dylan Budka was able to hit him hard enough to knock him out. Hunter, you're just taking L's all day, bro. You're back in saying that shut up Budka's dog shit. He lost to a kickboxer a la Alex Pereira. He lost to a lifelong championship level kickboxer, and you think he's dog shit because he lost that fight. That's the kind of recency bias we're looking to cash in on this show. He's 24 years old. He's just going to be getting better. You go right ahead and parlay up Mr. Petrowski. I'll bet you bet Josh Fremd. Haunter, be honest, Haunter. Be honest. You bet Josh Fremd last time, didn't you? I want to see it. I want to see it in the chat. You be real with me right now. Let's see. Dawes says, problem is Budka can't even get takedowns. He holds people against the fence. Won't work against a wrestler, let alone a better one. I mean, maybe that's true, but you actually have a guy in Petrowski who will like jump on guillotines and look for back and look for ground control, stuff like that. And like I said, getting better is kind of the key here. This is like top level thoughts, you guys. Like I mentioned, I have not done my research all the way or anything like that. So this is just, I'm looking at it and I'm going, that can't be right. So even if Petrowski does win, even if he should win, even if he should be favored, he shouldn't be a 3-1 favorite. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So I would more than likely expect to see me betting Dylan Budka, but let me do my full on research before I lock that action in. Yeah, I know. Luis, right? You can tell he bet Fremd. Absolutely. Oh my God. All right. Anybody else got anything? Ooh, Dream likes Andrade at plus 240. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm having a hard time with my girl Andrade because I planted my flag one fight early where I was like, nope, we have fallen too far from the grace of God, and Jessica Andrade is not this bad, and we need to respect her, and she's going to come back and win. And I was one fight early. She got smoked. And then her very next fight, she did it as an even bigger underdog. And I didn't have the balls to go right back to the well and do it again. And so I'm kind of zigging when I should be zagging with Jessica Andrade. And that's what worries me here a little bit. I do also think Natalia Silva is just straight up the fucking truth. That girl is an absolute killer. So I'm kind of liking Silva, except I hate the line. So if you're betting, line value style, I do think this thing should be a little closer to pick. I'm getting over 2-1 on Andrade does seem a little bit wild here. This is a huge step up for Silva, but I kind of think Silva passes the test at the end of the day. Dixon Sider, what's my guy doing here? You missed my comment where I thanked you for the decision parlay with Kaio. Yes, you tailed. Let's go. You know what's so funny about that, Dixon? First off, congrats. I'm glad you chose to tail me on that one. 13-1 parlay we hit this past week on the decision props, and it was crazy because this another one where we were talking about variance earlier. Bravo absolutely killed Jared Cannonier in round 5. Absolutely had him dead to rights. Like that, man, you could have just thrown some dirt on him, bury him. It's done. It's over. He's 6 feet under. Somehow wakes him up with a follow-up shot and the ref doesn't step in. That was the wildest non-stoppage I think I've ever seen. So we got incredibly lucky to cash that, but it's hysterical because just last week I had somebody on Twitter that was like, bro, you'd be profitable for the year if you just didn't make your stupid little parlays. You'd be so good if you just didn't make your parlays. And I'm like, I'm putting like a quarter unit. I did a half unit on this one because I actually really liked this one, but I usually just do like 0.2 or 0.25 units on these crazy Hail Mary parlays. And then if one hits, it's somewhere between 9 and 15 units, something like that profit. That I told the guy, I was like, look, I hit 1 or 2 of these every year, without fail. Okay. Shout out to Tim and Narco. They hit Lambos at a rate that I've never seen before. Okay. I can't do that. I can't pull that shit off. I wish I could. I go 2-1 more times than I can count, but I hit at least 2 of them every single year. And they usually end up paying for themselves because when I do hit them, they're like, this is a small one. 13-1 is a baby. Usually these things are 30-40-1. That's kind of the point, right? So they're just little sprinkle shots for shits and giggles, for fun. I track them as part of my record, which most people don't do, by the way. I count those against myself because I do bet them. Everybody bets them and then doesn't count them for their professional record. That's where I like to keep the transparency. But they do end up usually paying for themselves because you hit one and it pays for, God, weeks. You know what I mean? And it's just hysterical that someone was giving me shit over those last week. And we drilled one this weekend. I'm so happy. I am so happy we hit that one. It's like throwing it right in the hater's face, like immediately. Immediate retribution. Good shit. Adolfo Martinez, what's going on? Dixon Sider thinks Andrade is going to get steamrolled. I don't know about steamrolled, but yeah, yeah. All right, let me roll through here, get caught up with everybody. I was chatting and the chat was moving without me. My emergency official diehard picks are lit. What do you mean? What do you mean by emergency? What do you mean by emergency official diehard picks are lit? I need some clarification. Ice farts. What's going on? You're a little bit late. It's all right. We're still going though. We're still going. Ooh, Silva's an anchor for Anthony next week. Okay, okay. See, I don't mind that. That's another one where like I feel like it's gonna be close, but I do feel like Silva wins. That's how I feel about it. You just got to be careful with the anchors, guys. We got to be careful with the anchors. Let's see what else. Ooh, Steve Nelson and Kyle Nelson and Steve Garcia is another interesting fight that's coming up. I can't wait to break that one down because I still don't all the way trust Steve Garcia's durability. Like he don't get me wrong, like he's got heart for days. He hits like a truck, and Kyle Nelson has just been punching me in the gut and stealing my milk money every single time he fights. That's the kind of one where I'm like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I'm just, I'm still waiting to hear what the emergency picks are. Haunter wants to know if I'm betting peak. Oh my God. I looked at that fight, Haunter. I took like an early glance at that fight. I don't think I can bet peak, but oh God, he's taking on Yanel Ashmoz. And I love Ashmoz. I love me some Red Fox. I actually think that he could be okay. But the way he got iced in like his first UFC fight, you got to wonder if that's like a durability issue that could be a problem. This seems like a highly volatile back and forth. One of these guys is going to die type of fights. And Trevor Peek doesn't die. If Ash Mose comes in with a wrestling heavy game plan, I don't think there's a damn thing Peek can do about it. But Peek has made a literal career off of refusing to fuck off and then punching his opponents in the face. So if Yanel gets tired and slows down deeper in the fight, round 2, round 3, Peek, it's live. It's absolutely live. And Yanel's coming off of like an injury layoff. He took a bunch of damage in his last fight. Like, that's so tough. That is so tough. From what we've seen from Trevor Peek, I kind of feel like I want to bet Yanel Ashmoz, but it's extremely close. It is a very close fight, and it's kind of coin flippy, which I've been trying to kind of stay away from. Iceland Farts likes Yanel Ashmoz. Okay. Just the official pick notifications. Yeah. So Ulysses, thank you. I got to tell you, you got on the train at the right time. I'm having a down year. So at this point, guys, I'm down like 26 units, something like that. I need to update the spreadsheet with the last couple of weeks, but I'm somewhere in the ballpark of down 25, 26 units over the course of 2024. So we were down at like the 35 unit mark before we hit this past weekend. So yeah, you're getting the good picks right now, Ulysses. I seem to be coming up out of the hole at the moment. So hopefully we can keep that mojo rolling for the end of the year and get things done. Yeah, so Brady Andrade is the parlay that Sigma is offering here. The only problem, you guys, I've gotten myself into some shit here because Home of Fight, Gilbert Burns is one of our founding members. He's on the For the Money show with my guy Maddie and with Money Moicano. So I've always been a Gilbert Burns fan. You guys know that. I was commander of the Burns train. I've always been making a case for my guy. So I don't think I can bet against Gilbert Burns in this fight. It was like Gilbert's last fight. I did pick against him, and that hurt my soul. This one's interesting because I don't think Brady is. The grappling kind of cancels out. You know what I mean? Like Gilbert's a better striker. He's got more power, but Brady's a better wrestler. He might be stronger. Like, yeah, Dixon, it is. They switched it. It's Home of Bets now. We're the betting channel. We're the little sister of the Home of Fight over here on the betting channel. Mushroom MMA, you are back. I told you I'd get it fixed. I was hoping you'd pop in here and get some confirmation that my boy was live. He's out of jail. I hit the wrong button. Oh, man. Patrick, I said at the top of the show, my guy, I'm not doing a Dana White's Contender Series breakdown. I just wanted to come and hang out and talk with you guys, shoot the shit, hang out with the chat, go ahead and, yeah, get into some stuff here on the show, but was way too tired, needed the mental health day, gonna relax this week and not worry too much about contender. So unfortunately, no breakdowns, but you've got plenty of other guys out there. Like I posted a tweet with all the different people that are doing them. Brady always does one, Narco always does one, John Kelly does one that's really good. You've got Pepe and the guys over there that do them. Liam, Gordo, tons of Dana White's Contender Series action out there if you're looking for somebody who's going to give you the opportunity. Nigel Lee repeating a question. My bad that I missed that. Can we speak about the Fighting Nerds team? I've been preaching that they're the best team right now in 2024, and for Kyle to win was striking. It's impressive. I couldn't agree more, Nigel. I really couldn't. So if you guys remember last week, I picked Kyle on the show on Monday, right? I said I felt like I was going to bet Kyle this week, and my guest made a really strong argument for Jared Cannonier that made me kind of doubt myself. And I had some people in the comments of the show, which I hope are listening right now, that were like, it's so funny to watch him backpedal whenever his guest disagrees with him. And I'm like, I'm willing to listen and learn from people that are smarter than me. But what ended up happening was I decided to stick with my gut. I decided to stick with my own read. I bet on Kaio. I had a bet on Kaio in my anchor parlays this past week. And that's rare. So if I've gone all the way from, oh, you're making me question my pick, to, you know what? No, I was right. I'm confident I was right. And I'm confident enough to say that when I've got somebody who I respect telling me I'm wrong. Those are the ones where I'm like, in my soul, I know I got this. And sure enough, Kaio got the damn thing done. They are absolutely incredible. The Fighting Nerds are nuts. The one, Gene Silva was really the one that I could not have been more wrong on. I thought he was maybe the weakest of the bunch. I thought he was all flash and no substance. I thought, the barking thing, I thought he was getting a low level competition. And then he went out there and went to war with Drew fucking Dober. Like, that guy's unreal. These guys are all really good, really dangerous, and you've got to watch out for the game plans. Maybe the best part of their whole thing is the game plans. They come to work with a backpack every single time. Yeah, Krajewski, he's a little out still, right? Like, we've only got to see him once. I actually think he's very dangerous. He seems to have adopted a very McGregor-esque fighting style, and he's got the power to pull it off. So I do think Krajewski's probably in the same ballpark, right? He's probably going to do pretty well. Let's see here. Yeah, so the ones everyone knows: Prate, Silva, Kaio. Krajewski's only had one fight so far in the UFC, so most people aren't aware of him. Oh, he lost to Holloway. I don't remember that. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm mixing my people up then. Yeah, Keenan Krajewski, he lost to Elvis Brenner, one punch KO, and to Kurt Holloway. Okay, that's maybe not the right guy. Who's the one that looks like Conor McGregor? He won by round 1 KO his last time. Okay. I'm going to have to look at the Fighting Nerds team. There's one more. Ruffy. That's who I'm thinking of. Yes. Thank you, Sigma. Ruffy is the one that I'm thinking of. He's the one that looks and moves like Conor McGregor. And he just, oh my God, that guy's got some power. Serious power. Yeah, they're incredible. They really are incredible, Nigel. And it's going to be cool to see where they go from here. Especially because they've got people in each weight class. They legitimately could hold multiple belts within the team. It could look a lot like what the guys from City Kickboxing did for a little while there. UPK, what's going on? Wish I tailed you on some of those bets. Good overall shit, bro. Lost a few, cashed a few. It's a learning experience and getting better. You love to see it. Hey, it's always a learning experience, man. Make sure proper bankroll management. Don't bury yourself trying to keep up with people that you see on Twitter and shit like that. Definitely take lessons learned from every opportunity like that, and you'll get it. You'll get it. It's no big deal, man. You're coming along. And hey, like I always say, man, I tell you guys what I'm betting. If you want to degen out with me, then great. I'm excited for you. I know long-term I'm a winning bettor on mixed martial arts. I've got a positive record over 6 years since starting the show, but I swing from the fucking rafters. I will go on these negative 50 unit swings and then have to claw my way back, and it takes months to do it. So people think that I'm just buried lifetime. they're just not around for the clawbacks, right? Like I'll bring it back around, but that's where I don't suggest anybody tail me. I don't sell picks for a reason. I'm out here to have some fun and try to win a little bit at the end of the day. It's way more fun to win than it is to lose. But I would never suggest anybody actually tail me. If I say something that makes sense and I can help you get to a winning bet, that's definitely the goal. But look at the first start of this year, man. If I had been saying, "Hey, tail me, boys, tail me. I got this shit. I'm on. This is the best bet right now," except for obviously like my 7-unit bets where I've got like a real, actual, good, solid return and a good record. You'd have been down 20, 30 units, a lot like me, and that doesn't feel good when I'm like, bro, trust me, bet what I'm betting, do what I do, just do what I tell you, and then you're losing. That shit sucks. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to you either. So I'm just trying to get you all the info I can. And if you want to play with me, great. If you want to play with me, great. Just understand you're in for the long haul if you're playing with me. Louis Max saying, Clint, love the show. First off, thank you. What's your take on the lack of grappling/wrestling? I think there's some truth to the UFC wanting fighters to stay away from the mat. I think that it's a little column A, a little column B. So I do think there's some truth to it. I really do. And that's something I should have bet Dan Hooker. I talked about it in that exact fight that I was like, man, if they get into Gamrot's ear, this fight could get real interesting. But I think really what it is it's the wet blanket wrestling that they're trying to get rid of. If you take someone down, you mount up and you ground and pound, or you go to work with elbows, that's fine. Everyone's good with that. You just got to do damage. And a lot of these wrestlers, they'll tire themselves out getting the takedowns, and then they've got nothing left once they get on top. So then they do just sit there, right? And it's an effective way to win a fight, but it's boring. And the UFC is all about clicks now. Look at Dana just pushing Power Slap. It costs them nothing. These guys take their $500 paycheck for their brain damage and they move on with their lives. But it gets clicks. And that's what they're doing. They need more highlights from the UFC. The knockout Kyle just scored, even though he won a decision, the KO he got in round 5, that highlight's going to be around for a long time. That's what they're looking for. So I do really think there is something to what they're saying. I do think there is something to people being told, hey, grapple less. Or if you're going to grapple, you got to do damage. If you can't do damage, you might as well stand. You might as well keep it on the feet. They'll take that position immediately. They're not stopping people from grabbing the fence. When they're trying to defend a takedown and they get an egregious fence grab, they're not taking the position away and putting them on their back. They're just smacking their hand and going, don't do that again. So I do think there actually is a little something to that conspiracy, unfortunately. Let's see. Clint, I got a max bet on Ilya. Dumb bet? You know what? I got to tell you, Adolfo, personally, I would never max bet against this version of Max Holloway. That's all I got for you. Ilya Topuria might be the next big thing. He might rule with an iron fist. He's hard to grapple. He's got big-time submission offense upside. He's got insane power in his hands. Looks like he's durable as shit, too. Max Holloway is not a guy I'm in the business of betting against. That's all I got for you. Oh, damn, Nigel. Hooker decision was awesome. Yeah, plus 600. Dang. Yeah, Haunter. Yeah, he's homeless. Yeah, if you're betting that much that you're homeless, that's bad bankroll management, and I've told you not to do that. Yeah, Ilya looked really good against Volkanovski. That was a spot where I was like, hey, he's got to prove it. That's my thing, right? You got to prove it to me. There's certain guys. Volkanovski was literally the GOAT. Fuck John Jones. Volkanovski was the GOAT, number 1, pound for pound. I'm like, you got to prove it to me against that guy. He proved it. He proved it. Cade saying, I hate that argument. Same thing being said for Bobby Knuckles against Khamzat. Which argument? Cade, which argument are we talking about? Because at this point, I'm just not even sure Khamzat's ever going to get in the cage again. That's my thing. He's his whole situation over there with his warlord buddy keeping him out of the cage, and him just making excuses and not being able to make weight. What weight class is he in? Like, all that shit's the issue for Khamzat for me. I mean, I think Rob is a tough out. Rob is a really tough out. And especially what we saw in the Gilbert Burns fight. We saw that there's a problem with the cardio for Hamzat. Rob ain't playing that game. Like, Hamzat better kill him early. He can. He can. Hamzat absolutely could KO this man stiff right out the gates. I think that's very possible. Round one, Hamzat's a thing. However, we saw that Gilbert Burns was dragging Hamzat deep and wearing him out a little bit. If someone like Rob is able to get out of round one with you, you don't want to be in round three with Robert Whitaker. Nobody on planet Earth wants to be in round three with Robert Whitaker. Dreykus is the only one to pull that shit off. Yeah, I think it was the prove it thing. I think that makes sense. Oh, guys, you know what? I was supposed to keep this thing down to like 20, 25 minutes. We've been going for about 45 minutes at this point. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up at that. We just kind of got to hang out, talk some shit, answer some chat questions. We don't do this often enough. I'm going to have to start doing like a Luke Thomas-esque, recap Q&A type of series or something like that. If you guys are into that, jump in the comments, let me know. Let me know. Tell Home of Fight that you're into it if you guys want me to start doing some shit like that. God, I just don't have that much time anymore. That'll do it for the show, though, you guys. Hey, football season starts this week. I can't fucking wait. Go Vikings. Skol, baby. We're in for a long year. Oh. But no other shows this week, obviously, because there's no other fights. I will look into Dana White's Contender Series, and if I do find anything that I actually like enough to put my money on, you guys will find that on Twitter, on Instagram. Of course, join the Home of Fight Discord. Please, guys, get in there. It's free, and I've got my channel in there. That's the easiest way to track my bets if you want to take a look at what I am playing, because I've got my own channel in there. In the Discord, I've got my own little spot, and I don't post anything in there except for my picks and my bets and the recaps. So you won't get any blasts from me about what's going on with my day, that kind of thing. But if you want to see my bets, it's a real easy way to keep track of what I'm playing. Let's see here. Hey, that's what's up, Sigma. Thank you. I feel so bad for my guy Maddie. Oh my god, the fact that he missed a 70K payday because what's his biscuit couldn't sink in a rear naked choke. Oh, that guy finds ways to lose. Like, Maddie is cursed. He's gone 2 out of 3 legs on these parlays that he does so many times, and he's like this close to winning 80-90K every single freaking time. Dude's a madman. We're gonna have to get him back on the pod. We're gonna have to get him back on the show. He's fun to talk fights with. But thank you guys again so much for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. I will see you next week on Monday, same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here, and we'll be breaking down the next fight card. Love you guys. Have a blessed week. Good luck in the NFL. Don't blow your whole bankroll trying to bet week 1. I will do the same. No promises. And we'll see you guys in a week. Let's roll.